right, guys, this is the third session of Know Your Operator for the SSV Network. This time, we're very happy to host Bohdan, the COO of Everstake. And like always, Alon from the SSV Network. Hey, guys, happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Happy to be here.
Yes. So before we get started, just like quickly, I would love for you, Bo, to talk a bit about Everstake, what you guys do, the origin story behind your operation, and obviously a bit about what you guys are doing today.
Yeah. So, guys, my name is Bohdan, or Bo, as you want. I am CEO at Everstake and happy to spend this hour or maybe more with you guys because it's an honor for me. So, Everstake is a team of experienced developers, finance expert, and blockchain enthusiasts. We based in Kyiv, Ukraine, and we run high secure and reliable nodes for proof of stake and delegated proof of stake protocols. Using entire level of hardware to ensure maximum efficiency and security for our customers and clients. So we started more than 4 years ago with blockchain development and helped some guys with the wallets, with explorers, helped with the wallets, explorers, exchanges, and then we realized that, we could make our own projects and it will be awesome, blah, blah, blah. And we decided to run our own exchange. We wasted more than half of the year working on all this stuff, and it was totally disaster because guys in Ukraine want to use only Binance or Bitfinex or some other exchange and don't want to use our no-name exchange. But doing all this stuff, when we build an exchange, we have to run nodes for EOS at that time, for Ethereum and for Bitcoin because it's like necessary. And then was early beginning with the EOS, and some guys reached to us and said that why you don't want to be a validator on the EOS because there are not so many guys who working on that at that time. So we started with the EOS, and maybe in a 3 or in a 4 months we become the top EOS block producer from Ukraine. It was like for guys from Asia and for US market, it was something like shock because guys from Ukraine is the middle of nowhere. What are you doing? Blah blah blah. So, but we become one of the top validator in EOS, like block producer. We call it in EOS. It called block producers. And then we decided that there are a lot of other networks around, good networks. Why we cannot spread our knowledge to other networks as well. Then we started with the Tezos, with the Cosmos, and blah blah blah, etc., etc., etc. So for now, it's more than 45 in a mainnet and more than 25 in a testnet network that is working on. So basically, it's like Tezos, Cosmos, Icon, Polkadot, and sidechains, Cardano. First layer solutions and second layer Ethereum solutions. Oasis, it's like for Cosmos, okay. EOS, FIO, Elrond, Terra, Scale, Polygon, Optimism, Casper, so and more. So together it's more than 45.
Wow.
I have a question. How big is Ethereum in comparison to everything?
If we speak about that time, it was very small. But if we speak about now and maybe for last half of the year, Ethereum like becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and maybe in like closer to merge, it will be one of the biggest one really. Because
for you guys, for your own operation.
For us, for our own, and I think for not for our own, we have like top positions in other blockchains. For us, it will be one of the biggest one, but maybe not the biggest, because there are a lot of delegated proof of stake and proof of stake blockchain. But if we speak about in general, it will be one of the biggest. I am 100% sure, because even now we could see this like market and all this stuff. And don't forget about second layer solutions. If you speak about Magic or like Polygon, if you speak about Scale, if you speak about Optimism and other networks as well. So for now, As I mentioned before, all guys, most guys is Ukrainians, core team in Kyiv, Ukraine. For now, it's 62 people, huge DevOps team, huge developers team, marketing team, blockchain managers, and C-level, and etc., etc., etc. So just a few more good words about us. So for now, we one of the biggest validator in the client's perspective. I mean retail clients perspective. So for now, it's 365,000 clients staked for us. So and it's close. If we compare all these staked assets, it will be closer to $3 billion worth in dollar total stake. So for some exchanges, for some networks, we're bigger than Binance. For some networks, we're bigger than other top validators. But basically, everything working on is this in this field. For each blockchain, we try to make small teams. I mean, it's like DevOps, and sometimes we need a DevOps team, not only one DevOps, developers, blockchain managers, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, it's very quick intro. I could speak and waste more than 1 hour for all this stuff for years and explain all projects, but I will stop here.
We'll get to that point as well. Don't worry. Actually, I also have a follow-up question. Because of the fact that you guys touch on so many delegated proof of stake and proof of stake blockchains, probably more than anyone else or most of the other competitors, I really would love to know how your experience with ETH staking specifically compared to the other POSs that you had to run. I know for a fact that for us, when back in the day when we touched on EOS nodes, it wasn't the most pleasant experience for us. So I'd love to know how it looks on a grand scale of things.
So there are many points of view. If we take a look at all this stuff in a staker perspective, like a guy who just want to stake, who have Ethereum and that's all, and don't know what everything working on backend. So everything great, because for now it's 7% APR, nice, even that you lock it, but it's not great numbers. But if we take a look at validator perspective on our side, we're waiting for all this stuff for ages. Like first time we heard about all this merge maybe 2 years ago, more than 1 year and a half, in some conference in Paris, like Ethereum SS, I forgot how it called it, but it's
ETHCC,
annual conference. And for us, it was something like, wow, we shared all this information with our research team, like with the R&D department. These guys started working on make some research, but cannot find anything at all because because nobody does know anything like that. If you speak about in general about this stuff, so merging from proof of work to proof of stake is something like wow, because it's like more eco-friendly, it will be faster, it will be and I am 100% sure that it will bring more guys to the ecosystem, because if we check with the other networks like proof of stake or delegated proof of stake networks, a lot of validator, we don't speak about miners right now, but a lot of guys with from our networks already joined Ethereum because it's very interesting. So, and staking could bring a lot of good instruments at all. It could be like staking, okay, it could be lending and blah, 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 blah. So in general, it's very interesting for us. And as you asked before, it could be one of the biggest in our project, one of the biggest our staking project as well. So yeah, waiting for it.
Great. I'd like to follow up on that and maybe move to the next section. I'd love to know what you guys are working on right now and what you're planning on building for the near future. Maybe even want a hint for your audience what you're going to do, in a few months from today.
Oh, so it's a very hard question, because day to day we become bigger and bigger and bigger. It's of course it's nice, cool, and all this growing is nice, but it's hard to predict and hard to manage all this stuff, because when you have a lot of more than like 20 blockchains, each blockchains come to you and asking about something, but basically all these problems the same for each networks. Like, first of all, it's like mass adoption. That, guys, nobody knows about us. Could you please help? Okay. Could you please explain how everything working on our network? It's like first point. Second point, like, guys, we even don't have any explorer. Could you create something for us? And it's like the same common problem with other network. So we have dedicated teams for dedicated segments. We call it segments in our company. I will explain what it means. So, like, we have segment number one is like first layer solution. Like, it could be Casper, Tezos, and other blockchains in this field. We have another segment. It's like second layer solution, everything related to Ethereum. We have like segment number three. It's like Polkadot projects. With segment number four is EOS project. Segment number 5, 6, or etc. Cosmos and blah 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 blah. And all the small teams working on with all segments and basically doing the same for all these networks. Like, first point, it's educational materials, like all information that you could explain to our audience or bring this audience from segment number one to segment number two, and said that, guys, not only about, don't think that only Cosmos the number one. There are a lot of other blockchains like Ethereum, EOS, and blah blah blah. So, second point is development for all these blockchains. It could be wallets, it could be explorers. Of course, it depends on network. It could change, but in general, it's development. And the main our duties is DevOps operational, because it's like we unfortunately, or maybe not, we are not front end of staking, we are back end of staking. So we have to solve this problem. So our main duties, as I mentioned before, is to help networks, especially young networks with the testnet, to crush everything in a testnet, to check how everything working on, and explain how we can like solve this problem or how we can help. Yeah. So something like that.
Sounds like a lot of your issues and problems are issues that Alon can definitely relate to from the developer side of things.
Yeah.
I do have another question, if you don't mind. I mean, I love the segmentation, layer one, layer two, interacting between them, sending people from one end to another. That's great. I wanted to know what goes on behind the decision-making process for a company like you. You know, you're running probably you mentioned over 40 blockchains. How do you choose the next project? How do you choose the next blockchain? And how do you decide if it's something worth your time, if at all?
Okay. It's a very cool question, and I heard this question maybe once a week, really. Maybe like once on like 2 or 3 days, I had an email that, hello, like, my name is blah blah blah. We are new Ethereum killer. Could you join us like a validator? Yeah, could you join us like a validator, and we will like change the world, blah blah blah. And it was our mistake to join all these networks like 2 years ago, before like any small research. And then we decided we have to have our own R&D department, because it's like forbidden to don't predict what will be in half of the year. So it's a guys who in love with mathematics, in love with some economic and tokenomics, and they could spend or maybe waste hundreds of hours to check everything what's going on with this blockchain. They have to check community, they have to check tokenomics. Of course, they have to check maybe this is a scam and all this stuff. So a lot of blockchains come to us, like for now, come to us and said that, guys, let's working on together, blah blah blah, and our R&D department check everything on this perspective. Of course, there are a huge percent of all blockchains that appear in our like surrounding like hype blockchains. It's happened like last one. It's Cartesius, for example. It was very hype. It was really huge hype around this stuff. Maybe Casper Labs. It's like the last one. So some of blockchains appear somehow and become very popular. A lot of guys speak and share information about all this stuff. So of course we pay attention to it, and if everything okay on our validator perspective, we could join as well. Sometimes we even heard that no, guys, you are very huge, and we don't want to such huge operator because in a few months or in a half of the year you will control 10% of our network. So no, guys. Or if you join, only like 3%. No more. Yeah. So everything depends on the network. But anyway.
How fast are you guys adding networks? Like once a month, once a week?
Depends on the network. It could be once a month. If something very interesting for us, it could be even once 2 weeks. I know was some stuff that our DevOps team had, like maybe 1 year ago, our DevOps team had 4 blockchains during 1 month, like 1 blockchains per week. It was totally like disaster in my head and in our CEO and CTO, because a lot of stuff you have to prepare and a lot of stuff you have to do. But for now, like 1 a month, maybe even once or 2 months, because it's very hard for now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Great. Thanks for the detailed answer. The next section, the next part is going to be discussing specifically the SSV technology and your participation or your part in it. So first off, why SSV? You guys are managing so many blockchains. You guys are doing, sort of like all over the place, a bit of everything everywhere. Why dive deep into SSV, and why now?
Yeah, just to prepare for a lot of kind words from me about SSV, because it's really solve a problem. I don't joking, it's really true. So the same, a lot of points of view. As I mentioned before, all networks have the same problems. Slashing, it's not the main problem. There are a lot of other problems as well. If you speak about like only Ethereum, of course you could run your own validator, or of course you could share your Ethereum with other guys, like some experienced validators like Everstake or any other, and they want to and then can run your Ethereum as well, like a validator. Of course, you could go to the Lido or any project and find your best operator, and etc., etc., etc. There are a lot of risks, really. We saw that even the good operator like Staked and Staker or someone else got slashed, and nobody cannot like predict. Of course, can, but shit happens. Sorry for this, but yeah, and in my opinion and in opinion our DevOps team SSV could solve this problem in general, and this is the best way. It's like first point of view, high risk, slashing, and blah blah blah. Second point is the decentralization. All speak about that, but nobody care. Yeah, the same problem is other blockchains as well. Nobody care before something happened. There are a lot of problems if we speak about EOS as well. If we speak about Cosmos as well. As for EOS, there are a lot of problems with the voting that, like, half of the guys, producers from Asia, but even then cannot reach consensus between. So it's very hard. It's very hard to manage all this stuff. So, but for me, there is always a room for improvement. But SSV, it's a new step for this. just imagine you could split your keys between different operators and different validators, and nobody bad happens. I don't know how it goes, but anyway, so everything will be okay. Of course, another option, keys offline, and even like one or two validator get hacked, nothing happen at all. So it's a first point, and the biggest point when everything will be launched and everything will be okay on a mainnet. There are a lot of ways to add or create a new project on top of that. I mean, on SSV network in general. And I am 100% sure that there will be a lot of guys who want to build this stuff and just want to take your project because it's open source, maybe add something new, and it will be another project. And this, of course, it's cool for you because you could grow horizontally as well. Yeah,
we definitely hope that people, I mean, of course people can fork it out, but I mean, we definitely hope that people will build on top of it. So for example, you can use the network effect where you have a bunch of ether and a bunch of operators, and you can build on top of it. So if you want to build a specific staking pool or a specific tokenized staking or whatever comes to mind, you can build on top of it like you build any DeFi service. And you can build on top of it without worrying about the infrastructure. You can only kind of focus on the application layer. Where today, if you want to do anything with staking, you need to build or use somebody else's infrastructure. And so I definitely hope that we'll see a lot of building on top of SSV. Kind of like people are building on top of Chainlink or building on top of the graph or any of the other kind of or building on top of the L2 solutions, and it's kind of the same thing. You'll have the kind of the building blocks, and on top of that, people can start building and do new stuff.
Yeah, I agree. The same, like if you speak about Chainlink, there are a lot of projects around and teams around that working on this Chainlink. So the same will be with SSV. I am that sure. And one more option that I forgot to mention, like there are a lot of guys that have Ethereum, maybe even have 32 Ethereum, but don't know at all what is staking and how everything working on. Yeah. We have this problem with other blockchains as well. That sometimes guys just not stake, just send money to us, and we have to return it. Yeah, it's a common problem, and we always said that guy don't send, just stake, and they just ask, what do you mean? It's the same. No. Just imagine that this guy who even have Ethereum for one validator can use SSV and split keys between validators, and everything will be okay. It will be nice because these guys don't choose the no-name operator and lose their money. So
yeah, I agree.
Now imagine how difficult it is to explain the risks. Again, slashing maybe is the biggest one, but going into detail and explaining what each risk means and why you should avoid it, that's a different story. So yeah, I can definitely relate to the educational side and how difficult that can be. You've already answered probably the next question, which was supposed to be about the problems that it solves for you, but I would love to know how you guys are planning on implementing SSV into your service or onboarding yourself into SSV. How do you see it improving your offering or your service?
So it's a very long question. Different, as always, different ways. First of all, maybe some ideas appear in our minds, or in my mind, or in our DevOps head. It even happens sometimes that we could build something on top of that, or we could take this technology and use for Ethereum as well. From a Genesis, we launch in a Genesis block. We launch maybe more than 200 validators in Ethereum, and it will be some of our funds, some clients' funds, some closer friends and family funds. if at that time we had SSV, I am sure that we use SSV for that, because it will be for us and for these guys, it will be safer, faster, and everything will be okay. So on our side, for now, DevOps just want to destroy everything in testnet, check everything, and share as more and share all this information with as more network as we can. As for example, as you know, we working with Lido as well. We are one of the top operator in the Lido, and we started from the very beginning. So for us, of course, I don't want to criticize, or I don't want to choose to find some pros or cons, but it's a good way for Lido to. Of course, it's nice if you could choose a professional operator and everything will be okay with your keys and with your Ethereum, but it's another way for improvement as well. It will be, as I mentioned before, it will be just safer for your funds. Our main perspective, like DevOps team, just to have check everything. Ellen already checked it. We're just waiting for mainnet, and we're on that.
Perfect. Alon, I think it would be a great opportunity to explain again or touch again on the verified operators process, what it means, and how they're chosen. Yeah.
So for now, what we did was anyone can join as an operator on the testnet, but just to have a bunch of kind of a set of operators which people can trust and trust in, not in the sense that trust their money, but trust that they are 24/7 up and running and they're updating to the latest version. We created a list of verified operators. For now, it's basically partners and companies from the industry we know we can trust. And so we just mark them as verified, so you can know, those guys are running their SSV nodes up to par. Actually, we are about to announce an incentivized testnet for SSV, where we'll incentivize both operators and validators to join in and interact with the network. And so I think in about 2 or 3 weeks, the process of being verified will change from being, just contact us, and if you're good enough, we'll get you verified, to needing to pass through the DAO. Which will also be the way to do that in mainnet. So you imagine a process where an operator, kind of, I think, very similar to Lido. So an operator who wants to join as verified will have to submit something to the DAO, and then the DAO can discuss and then vote on top of it. And so one of the things we want to do with the incentivized testnet is really to try and start mimicking what it will be like in mainnet. So both the operators and the validators and the users will start to get a feel of how it will look like in mainnet. And so, and of course, Everstake, we know them for a while. And so it wasn't even a question if they're verified or not. But anyone who comes later on will have to, in 2 or 3 weeks, will have to actually go through the DAO with voting and everything to join as an operator, as a verified operator, sorry. And so, and for now, I think we have like around 50, maybe more operators, and so I think it's a pretty good number for the testnet and so on. And then of course that will get bigger and bigger, but we do want to get the DAO involved as well for choosing verified operators.
Yeah, there's also the side that sort of relates to what you mentioned before, Bo. It's about giving smaller blockchains or smaller projects the opportunity to build on something stable, so they can focus on building their layer or their solution instead of focusing on infrastructure, just similar to what you guys had with the exchange. So besides the verified operators, we want to give prominent community members or very ambitious people or people that are running nodes in other projects or other POS blockchains to migrate to Ethereum and actually build on top of the SSV network. That would be the other side of it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to sort of my favorite section, your opinion. Sort of, what do you think, in your opinion, there's no right or wrong answer, where do you see the Ethereum staking ecosystem post or after the merge?
Well, so you speak about, in general, about Ethereum staking ecosystem after the merge. It will be of course, in my own opinion and the opinion of our company, it will be like the top positions. If we check network like right now, we could split like Polkadot ecosystem, Cosmos ecosystem, like EOS ecosystem, and like blah blah blah. For now, EOS, Ethereum become bigger, bigger, and bigger, and I am sure that after the merge, it will be one of the biggest one. There are a lot of guys who don't want to stake right now because they scary. They don't know how everything working on. They don't want to freeze their money for like a year or maybe 2 years. Nobody knows. So that's why I think like exactly after the merge, in a second block after all this stuff, it will be something like boom when everyone just want to stake and receive like 6 to 7% of annual return. Yeah, and
we'll see a lot of people staking because the merge will bring more rewards. So the rewards will jump higher, and of course, when there's free money on the table, people will jump in and want to stake as well.
Yeah, I agree. Don't forget about miners. They just hold their Ethereum and waiting for something. And of course, we will check what will be on all this at that time. If we speak about the role about SSV role at that time, I think it will be one of the main because I said before that just imagine you. Of course, you could stake in another with any guys, but here you could stake safer, and you could even like improve your ROI. So, and it will be you will sleep well when you know that your money will be not in one hand and not eggs in one box or basket, but you could split your risks between other teams. So this is why I in my opinion, it will be one of the main role. Yeah,
I agree.
It's actually funny. It's the second time this interview where you already predicted my next question. This exactly was going to be my next question, but you beat me to the punch, and that's great because it'll leave us more room for more questions. I have a question again from a non-technical perspective. I would like to know if you guys considered or considering, or if there are any applications for SSV that would be relevant for other blockchains or other layers that you guys are currently running.
To be honest, I before our meeting, I just thinking about that, and I think it will be a nice idea if we could just take this technology and just share for other networks, because unfortunately some networks had this problem, and I don't want to blame like some foundations or like other guys who working on, but sometimes for many networks we could find not so good validators that don't want to stick the rules. That even can use the cloud servers for staking, and in our perspective, is like total disaster. And sometimes we could choose like some network and like go through to the list of top validators and could find 3 or 2 or 5 bad validators that always got slashed, always have problems with the network, or when we like have to vote for something, they just sleep, or I don't know what they doing all this stuff, but just don't want, or maybe don't want to waste time. And guys who stake for this guys for this not good validators, they waste money and they don't receive more rewards. They don't know how everything working on, and they even don't know why. So some of them who deep dive into all this stuff, some of them will delegate to other guys, but some of them not. So it will be a good beginning or a good start for all these networks if someone could use this technology and just to improve decentralization. And I even right now could choose a few blockchains, but I don't want because it will be like political problems. But anyway, you understand what I mean. And
you don't want to get into that. Yeah.
And I am dead sure that other validators who working on have the same idea and have the same problems, because we all on the same board. When we beginning like a few years ago, we laughing that in a few years there will be a group with all validators, and all these validators have to communicate somehow, because sometimes you have to vote for something, and sometimes it could be emergency, and it come true in the near future. So
I think that the most immediate blockchain that could adopt SSV is actually XDAI. If XDAI moves to proof of stake, which I know there are plans to do that, then actually SSV can be used very, very easily. Like not a lot of modifications needed. So that could be very interesting to see.
And I am sure that after mainnet, guys just take technology and just do it. Maybe even don't tell you. It is bad, not of course good, because they just improve everything. So no problem with that at all.
We invite everyone and anyone who wants to review the code and use it. You're all welcome to join. It would be best if you guys joined the testnet first, but sure. All right. So before we wrap things up, you guys have obviously over 60 employees, over 40 different blockchains that you run. You've been in the space, specifically in the POS and the delegated POS space for long enough, and your reputation precedes you. So I would love for you still to take a few minutes to describe or explain to our users why they should choose Everstake as their operator on the SSV network.
Oh, nice. I like this question because it was the most common question like maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because nobody knows who we are, and you always have to explain why we, not why another one. For now it's easier because we're already on the market and guys know why. Guys just as for example, check Tezos and know that Everstake is one of the most reliable. Then they check Cosmos or EOS or another network and saw that Everstake in the top position, everything okay is uptime, no cloud servers, everything with a bare metal, each network has a dedicated DevOps and blah, 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 blah. So that's why they come from blockchain to blockchain, stake one blockchain, then stake another blockchain with Everstake, and they 100% sure that everything will be okay with us. That we don't die in any moment, we don't disappear, because and anyway, why staking is so good? Because we don't have any access to funds at all. Nobody, no one validator don't have any access to your funds, so just stake and be safe. If someone tell you that they have those, is scammers. So choose Everstake and stake with us.
Awesome. That's a great answer. By the way, guys, if you are interested in seeing a Twitter page that works well with social media, that actually provides you with marketing and educational stuff, Everstake are doing an amazing job. I follow them on a regular basis, so I invite all of you to check it out. Definitely a lot to learn from them.
Thank you very much.
All right, so it's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your time. Alon, thank you for your time. And I definitely hope to hop on a call in the near future again to discuss the development of SSV and Everstake. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bohdan. It's been a pleasure.